The story that I'm going to give you right now is an old Miwok story, and has very many versions from around the country, around the world. There's always a version of how someone or somebody or some being stole or acquired fire for the people. And this is the Miwok version, my own embellishments. At any rate, in the time before there was time, the Miwok sat around in the evening, especially in the winter, cold and damp, with no fire, nothing to cook their food, nothing to scare away dangerous animals, nothing to give them warmth and light at night. And they were cold. They had nothing really to keep them warm. And little hummingbird came by, and she saw them sitting there in the evening, and she felt sorry for them and said, well, I have feathers to keep me warm, but you have no feathers, and I can see how cold you are, and you have nothing to cook your food with. You should have fire. And the folks who were sitting there said, well, we know about fire, but fire is guarded by the sun in a distant place, and we can't acquire it. And she said, little hummingbird said, well, I'm a really strong flyer. I can fly fast and far, and I will offer to go and see if I can get some fire for you folks, because I feel sorry for you. And the people were very thankful for her offer. But they said, you shouldn't do that. You're a tiny little hummingbird. There's nothing you can do to get fire. Besides, if you even get that far, the sun, who guards the fire jealously, will never let you have it. He'll burn you up. And she said, well, I think I'm going to try anyway. So early the next morning, as the sun was coming up in the east, Hummingbird came by again, and there were the people huddled around, still chilly, thanking the sun for coming up because it was warming up the air. And she said, well, I'm going to leave now. And so they wished her goodbye and strength and power, and she took off. And if you've ever seen a hummingbird fly, they can go very fast, very far in a straight line. She took off, and she flew, and she flew, and she flew. She flew for hours and hours, and finally she got to the sun. As she approached the sun, he looked out and said, what are you doing here? I know what you want. You're going to try to steal some of my fire. I'll burn you up, and sent out big licks of flame to try and burn her up. Well, as you know, hummingbirds can fly in all different directions, backwards, forwards, up, down, and zip, zap pretty quickly. And she was able, with her powers of flight, to avoid the sun's attempt to burn her up. And when she saw her opportunity, she flew down right into the middle of the fire, picked up a little ember and tucked it under her chin, and turned around and began to fly away. Well, now the sun was really angry, and he sent out huge licks of flames in every direction to try to catch her, but she was too quick. And she finally got away and flew and flew and flew, and by the time she got back, it was evening time. And again, the Miwok people, kids and adults, were sitting around in a little circle, still cold. As the sun was going down, it was getting colder again. And she finally got back, and she was exhausted. And she got back and hovered over the little circle of folks and said, I got it. I was able to get it. She said, here it is. It's tucked under my chin. And what should I do with it? And Coyote, who was the chief, stood up, and he said, well, give it to me. I know what to do with it. Now, if you know about Coyote, he was both very wise, powerful creator, and also a trickster, mischievous. So he took the little ember that Hummingbird had worked so hard to get and popped it into a buckeye tree. And the people got very upset. They said, Coyote, she flew all the way to the sun. She risked her life. She brought the fire back, and all you did was throw it away and put it in a buckeye tree. Well, Coyote said, well, don't be too quick to judge. If we had put that little ember under some wood and started burning fire, somebody might have forgotten to put more wood on. The rains could come and wash it out. The wind could blow it out, and we would have no fire. But he said, now, whenever we need fire, all we have to do, and he demonstrated how to do that, is go to a buckeye tree and take a branch and a plank of soft wood and a little nest of dried grass, and with a fire drill, we can get fire anytime we want. So from then on, the people always had fire whenever they needed it, and we're indeed forever thankful to little Hummingbird. And if you look at a hummingbird today, you can still see that little red patch under her chin where that glowing ember burned.